Love the shades, man.
It's well, the new black is green is the new black for me. Yeah, this tour to help celebrate the 50 years of Led Zeppelin 4, I dug out the old green sparkle kit. So yeah, I suddenly realized I've been using the stainless steel, which is my favorite looking kit, for like a good 7 years now. Believe it or not, this is something which I only started to do once in 2010. Has suddenly grown and grown and grown. And of course, the last year we were going to celebrate the 10-year anniversary, and things changed drastically around the world. So with that said, here we are, the start of, for us, the start of what we normally would do, the winter run, but as it actually is everything. The shows we were supposed to do in May of last year, and also the winter run of last year, put together all together. So 6 weeks of playing this stuff again. My hands are already cut and already starting to get in, but I'm happy to be back. I don't care.
We're speaking with Jason Bonham of Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening. It's going to be here in Tucson on Tuesday, October 26th, out at the Tucson Music Hall. Tickets still available. Go out there and get them now. So Jason, I met you. You would remember this because you meet a billion people in a year, I'm sure. I met you way back when you had the Bonham album out. Way back when I was living up in Phoenix, and you were a great gentleman then, and I've heard nothing but great stories about you, and I've been following your career ever since. And I mean, you have played with everybody, obviously from Led Zeppelin, obviously back 11, 12 years ago, to Paul Rogers, Bad Company, Bonamassa, obviously Sammy Hagar with the Circle. I've been watching all those, I forget the term, your quarantine videos that you've been doing with Sammy and company.
That they were fun, yeah.
But so what made you decide to pull out and do this all over again? And just because you're making up the dates that got canceled, or just let's get out there and play some Zepp?
This is something I started back in 2010 it was virtually, somebody came to me and said we were going to do this, with an idea of using some old home movie videos and stuff, and make it a little bit more of a personal journey. So there was a lot more stories and home movies in the original show. And then it kind of just, once we stopped, the following year, the response was, well, you haven't been here yet, or you haven't come here yet. Why haven't you done this? So I was like, okay, if you really want us to keep going on, we'll keep doing it. I mean, originally it was, as I said, 28 shows that we were going to do. And then now we are 11 years later. I never thought of it to be an act where for 3 years we were we went and opened up for Foreigner on a summer tour with Whitesnake one time. And then it was, so it was us, Whitesnake, Foreigner. Then the year before that was us, Cheap Trick, Foreigner. And I was amazed that because we didn't have the video screens, we couldn't do the storytelling. We only had 45 minutes of music or an hour of music. So it was like, boom, 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 do all the best, biggest Zepp songs. And the place was full. It would bring tears to my eyes that the place was full at 7 p.m. when normally everyone's just pulling in at a concert. I never imagined to get the response that we got. And it was hard, and then they said, you want to come back next year and do it again? So everything I'd said that we couldn't do because it wasn't nighttime, we didn't have the light show, we didn't have the storytelling, we didn't have the video screens, was put to shame. Basically people wanted just to hear the music, and that really was very, very special. So to do that, then we did Pete Frampton's final farewell tour. We did the whole tour with him. I got to play Madison Square Gardens again, played the same music, just not with the same band, which was amazing to play there. Since 1988 was the last time I played there with Zeppelin. So to play there in 2019 was, yeah. So as I say, this was just something that is kind of just part of me. I have my real bands. I always like to say, my original stuff, like when I've done Black Country Communion with Joe, Glenn, and Derek, like now with that I've been with 8 years. I've been with Sammy and the Circle and Michael and Vic. Yeah, with Paul. I mean, even then the stuff I did with Hans Zimmer on the Man of Steel with Superman, from the Lone Ranger. I'm on the music scores of those movies, and recently the new James Bond.
Oh, really?
When you go and see the movie, I am. When you hear drum hits in the movie, it's me.
Oh, wow.
I went and did that back. It was right before lockdown in 2020. I flew to England. Hans called me day after the what was it, the Grammys, and said, "Would you like to be part of the James Bond legacy?" And I'm like, "Oh, when do you need me?"
Oh, that is
So
great.
I went and I said, "You remember, I don't read music, Hans." He goes, "Don't worry, I'll play to you each part we need, and then you can just do it."
That's
So it was
interesting. You're one of a lot of the musicians I've talked to over the years who, have been a part of my favorite music, but they don't read music. Is it just all memory?
Yeah, you have to just go through. I mean, I grew up. My dad we had this old Seaberg jukebox, a '70s one, not like the '50s one. So that you see in The Song Remains the Same. It's the one, and he would put different songs on and say play to this. So that was kind of how I learned how to play, was just play along. You listen to something and learn. I remember back in 2014 when Phil Collins called me and said, "I want you to come and play drums. I want to see if I want to do this again." And he was going to be rehearsing locally. So I said, yeah, I'd go down and do it and be an honor. And he gave me like 45 songs to learn. And when I got there, everybody else had their charts out. And I'm going, that's cheating. You don't ever remember the song if you can read it. You don't truly ever remember it.
And you probably don't feel it as much if you're reading it.
Well, I mean, there's probably a bunch of people out there who read music and go, "Oh, yes, you can." If you can read correctly, it's. I think it's like almost having the original song playing in your other ear, so telling you what the changes are, slightly ahead of it. So I don't know. For me, I have to learn. The only way I can relax when I'm playing any song is when I know it, when I truly, truly know it. Where it would, one of those things when you before the words are coming up, you're already knowing what the next line is.
So, Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin evening is going to be here next Tuesday at the Tucson Music Hall. Who is in your band?
Well, basically, it's the same guys that have been with me on this journey. As I said, generally, we only used to do like 3 weeks in May and 3 weeks in the winter. That was it. It was 6 weeks a year that we would have fun and get the lead out. So on bass guitar, we have Dorian Hartson, who also plays mandolin, who's a wonderful guy from Los Angeles that I've got to know. He came in, he came in actually in 2011 after my original bass player went on to join Whitesnake. Yes. So then he brought in then another friend on keyboards called Alex Howland, who's a Boston boy, who is also very talented, plays guitar also, and keys. So pretty much can play anything, one of those little, so I'm like one of these live, the live stuff, but also having some of the album backing things there, because you've got on some things there was another guitar part or an acoustic part, so we have the capabilities of adding some of more of the album recordings when we play live. On vocals, James Dillon. Now this is a guy I found on the internet who was doing a virtual Zeppelin.
Really?
And I heard him sing 10 Years Gone, and I went, if he can really sing that the way he sings it, then I've got to do something. So I flew him to my house, in Florida, and he came in, and he sounded great. He just didn't look like a singer. He was still a graphic designer, if you know what I mean. He wasn't Mr. Rock and Roll at all. So about 7 months later, he called me up and he went, "Hey, I've lost 75 pounds. I'm there, you know, and this. I've been singing every day." So we got back together, and I said, "Well, thanks. I gained 50, and you lost 75." So and he's been there from day one. He's an amazing singer, and he's never done anything else. This was his first band.
Wow.
In reality, he doesn't know. You know, he learned how to sing from just like I did, was impersonating the person that he liked. So he can do a few different people. You know, he's an amazing artist. You know, his drawings, he has just from watercolors to pencil, his pencil drawing collection of the members of Led Zeppelin. You think it's a photograph. You really do. Wow. It is so good. So he's a very talented, and he's the man responsible to all the tour posters we do. He comes up with the logos, wonderful, wonderful guy. And then the final edition, after 7 years, my guitarist, who I'd known since 1988, Tony Catania, decided he wanted to just not do it anymore. Luckily for us, I found this gentleman from Japan called Mr. Jimmy, who has lived his life being Jimmy Page.
Wow.
And his knowledge of Zeppelin stuff is beyond. So, you know, his English might not be as great as we might do, but he understands a lot more. So when we just, you know, we're playing and I said, "Oh, maybe try do a little bit more like this," he go, "Oh, you mean like BBC or like 73 Osaka, you know, 71 Osaka."
Oh, wow.
He's
so
like,
he's truly
he
wow.
knows. I mean, and I always say to him, you know, sometimes even if, you know, sometimes if you go off, you know, on the live version, it's not always good. And make sure you pick the good nights because he plays it identical. So
wow.
The journey for him has been, I tried to make him, I say, pick that bit of that night and pick that part of this night and then this part of that night and put it together. And I said, and then you're actually becoming yourself, but still Jimmy Page. So, and he's just phenomenal. People love the fact that this guy's devotion to his tone, I mean, just, yeah, I mean, it's uncanny. Everybody that's met him has got like gone, it's like they have a little shudder and go, he's exactly like Jimmy. So wonderful guy, sweetheart. And of course, he's been locked away in Japan for the last 2 years, wasn't allowed to come over. So finally, when he got vaccinated, he could fly back to the US.
How do you pick the first of all, how long is the set? How long is the show? You mentioned 45 minutes when you were opening, but this is your show now. So how long are you playing?
Well, yeah, when we do our show, as much as the crew say, any chance of cutting a couple of songs, guys, you know, for opening night, which was 3 shows ago, we did 2 hours 40, which was, I don't know if it was, I'd say it was 2 hours of 2 hours 15 of music, and the rest was talking. But generally, it's a good 2 hours 15 minutes show.
Do you still do a little bit of talking about do you do a little bit of reminiscing in between songs still?
Yeah, I still like to do it as a show where, imagine somebody will shout something from an audience of like, and it brings back a memory, or we do a song and I suddenly remember a story about that specific song. So I make it. It's every night's different. It's a personal journey, and as I've said to the audience now, the show isn't about me. We stopped that 11 years ago. The show is about everyone's experience with Led Zeppelin and what each song means to everybody, because they're all special. Everybody has a different version of why they like a specific song. We've come to, the big thing that I always say is, how many of you remember hearing it on 8-track and you get an amazing roar of the audience? And how many of you made out in the back of your mum's station wagon? And that gets an even bigger roar. And I always say, do you remember when you were smoking pot that wasn't given to you by the doctor? And that gets the biggest roar of all. So it is, I always say, our job is to take them back into time to when you maybe had a little bit more hair and we were all a little bit thinner and our wives were still our girlfriends at the time. And when we were young, free and wild, and, tomorrow was just another day. We were just enjoying the moment. So I always say to everybody, let's just, for 2 hours, just forget about everything that's been going on and go back to a time when all we were worried about was catching something else.
Well, we're speaking with Jason Bonham of Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening, going to be in Tucson next Tuesday at the Tucson Music Hall. Tickets still available. I'm looking forward to seeing the show. I have not seen it before. It's always been up in Phoenix. So I'm so glad you're coming to Tucson, Arizona, here to Southern Arizona. And I know a lot of people here in Tucson are looking forward to the show as well. Just one last thing before we wrap things up here, because I know you're busy. If somebody has not seen Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening yet, you kind of did a synopsis of it just a moment ago, but what do you want them to walk away with at the end of the show?
What would I want them to walk away with? From what people say, when they come and they don't know what the show is, everyone that walks away suddenly says, for the people that say, why is he doing this? Why does he go out and do that? For those kind of people, they come to a show and they walk away and go, I know exactly why he does that now, because it's the pleasure it gives everyone, us included on stage, the audience. You see people, 3 generations, of people come to these shows. I mean, it really has grown. I don't kind of promote it. We're not ramming it down people's throats. We don't dress up. We don't have, we're not pretending to be Led Zeppelin. We are just inviting you to come to an evening of Led Zeppelin music. Yeah, I played with them on numerous occasions, and yeah, it's great. I am that close. But this is something that we do purely as a love and a passion for the music, and everyone that stayed with us over the years as it's grown gets it, and they, and we're that kind of band. If you shout out a song, we just look at each other and we go, should we do it? Should we try that one tonight? Yeah, let's do it. It's as I said, it's a reflection and an enjoyment of one of the greatest rock and roll bands of all time.
Have any of the other 3 guys in Led Zeppelin seen the show, or what do they think about? Seen video of it, or actually ever attended one of them?
I know Robert's seen video of it. We spoke about it briefly. He goes, as he said to me, across the table, I was just with him in Nashville. While I was recording there, he was in town promoting Alison Krauss, and we went out for dinner. And he's known my wife as well for many years since we were kids, So we were all, passing pictures back and forth, showing children and grandchildren. And he says, "Oh, what are you up to next?" And I went, "Well, I'm finishing this, and then I go back out with my thing, And he goes, "Don't give me that smirk from your face. When you say your thing, you mean your Led Zeppelin thing, And I went, "Yeah." And he goes, "How's that going?" I went, "It's really good. It's not, obviously it's not with you." He goes, "Well, well, just have fun with it. That's all I say. Have fun with it."
And it seems like you are.
Well, we try. That's the main thing. I've said that to everybody. We're in a very fortunate position in our lives. I say this on a daily basis to the boys. we get to do this. We get to play in front of people. We get to play this kind of music. We travel really well. We have hotels. We get paid at the end of the day. Well, they do. And what more can you ask for in a situation like this? In the way the world's been going on, you don't realize how much you miss playing live until you're told you can't.
Hmm.
So for us, it was a very emotional first show back, especially for me, because at one point I didn't know if we were ever going to do this again. Because with the way it's been going, to watch a whole audience wear masks, be told they have to wear a mask all the way through a show. That's asking a lot of your audience, to come to that. But for them still to do that, that's their devotion. They're like, I don't care, I'll do it. If that's the only way I can go and see the band, then I'm doing it. So that was very, heartfelt, and I felt them. It's very, very special to be able to do this.
So when this is, how many days you doing this tour?
32 shows.
32 shows, and you're at the beginning of it right now, right?
Yeah, we end the day after. Oh, and I have 2 circle shows in Vegas for the residency circle stuff in the middle of it all. And then that's the 29th and 30th, I believe, of this month. So yeah, I'm keeping busy.
So after this is done, are you going to go out and do a proper tour with the circle, or is it just the residency up in Vegas? And now you guys release, I saw all those, those videos that you put out. Yeah. Are you going to be releasing an album?
We are. We've just finished a new album, as I said, with Dave Cobb producing, Vance Powell mixing and engineering, which was I got to work with on numerous occasions. Who's an amazing engineer, and Dave is just a phenomenal musician and producer. So that was amazing to do in the RCA building. Also, the old Elvis. The dog was there, the famous RCA dog, which I managed to take down from the wall and have some pictures taken with it. Thinking this dog is probably priceless, so be careful. Yeah, just great to be to record back in that way where you're all in the same room and just get the good take was a phenomenal thing to do. So I'm not too sure when that's supposed to come out. Sammy doesn't tell me everything, but we just finished the birthday bash in Catalina, which went fantastic, and I think we're going back out as soon as I finish this. I've got about a week off, and we're going back out again in December with more shows with the circle.
All right. Hey, Jason, thanks for taking time. I appreciate it. If people want to follow you, are you on social media? You got a website?
Yes, so you can go to me, which you will go to Jason Bonham on Instagram. So it's just my name, and you'll know it's me because, well, you just will. There are the few impersonators, or if you go to jasonbonham.net, not much happens on those kind of things now. But as I said, there's the Facebook and the Instagram, and I've just started getting into my the other kind of social medias. You have to remember, I'm 55. I have to ask my kids. What to do and what you're supposed to do. And and speaking of which, my son is now 25 years old. He's graduated. He's done everything I've asked of him, and now has devoted himself to a musical career, and he actually sings.
Oh, wow.
Which I didn't even know he could. He was more of a, growing up as a kid, was always rapping and doing that, has suddenly transformed himself into more of a new age, rock kind of pop vocalist, and has blown me away in the last 3 months to the point of I don't think I've listened to anybody else's music other than my son. I mean, it's weird because I'm not that kind of dad where I just think everything's great he does. I am that dad that goes, that sucked. Start again. You
Mhm.
know, you suck. Get better. So no, he really has blown me away. And he's if you want to check him out, he's on Spotify. He got me to play drums. I'll tell you one funny story. When I was a kid, I told my dad one day that you're okay, but Stuart Copeland is better. So how full circle was this? So my son says, would you like to play drums on this one track for me, Dad? And I'm like, yeah, of course I will. He goes, but can you play it like Travis Barker, not like you? So, Dad, I know how it feels.
What comes around goes around.
Yeah, exactly. It was. So it's because it's one of those like up tempo kind of like Green Day kind of Blink. So it was like, I'm 55, so I'm doing the full pumping on the kick drum. So yeah, and he goes by the name of Jagger Henry. He doesn't use the Bonham name. It's his middle name, same as his grandfather, John Henry Bonham. So it's Jagger Henry. So go and check him out on Spotify and all those other social medias. He's I don't know where he gets his good looks from. He's he does. He gets it from his grandfather. He's 6'4". Yeah, yes, very talented.
Wow. Well, I'm going to definitely check him out, and I'm going to share that on my social media as well.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Jason, thank you for taking time up. Next Tuesday, Tucson Music Hall, Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin evening. And hey, have a great show tonight up in Phoenix. I believe that's where you're at tonight.
Yes, we are. I believe so.
And then
I think, yes, when I look, yep, that's Phoenix.
Yep, that's Phoenix. All right. Yep.
Well, I'm looking across to the rich side in Scottsdale, I guess.
Yep, I think you are. Yep, absolutely. I'm from Phoenix, so I recognize that area. Hey, Jason, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Have a great show tonight. I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday here in Tucson at the Tucson Music Hall.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it too. Nice part of the world, and as I said, come on down. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Tickets, you can get them online on our website at klpx.com.